I think we're ready to...
Hey, hot stuff. Guess what? You know what time it is? That's right.
Third Coast Radio.
Third Coast Radio.
This is what this station sounds like when I'm not on.
Hello?
Hi, this is Chrissy with Health. I was calling regarding affordable health care coverage that you may be qualified for.
Whoa, dude, you have like a weird voice.
Okay. Do you all currently have health coverage?
Health insurance? No way. Well, I'd like to get some, but I don't really have any money.
Okay, well, I can help you with that, sir. You're in Houston, so you're in Harris County?
Well, I mostly stay here, but sometimes I'll go camp out on the beach for a few days and just, like, black out for a while. That's not going to affect my coverage, is it?
Oh, well, that sounds pretty nice. You're right there near Galveston. Okay, but, I mean, your physical address is in Harris County, correct?
Yeah, where are you located at?
I'm in Florida.
You're in Florida? Do you know how to get bath salts?
Yeah, you talking about sleep on the beach. Now, are you currently working? Do you file income tax return?
Oh, no. I'm kind of like an employee of the government in the sense that I get EBT and, like, food stamps and stuff.
Okay. Well, in order to qualify for the government subsidy, you've got to file an income tax return. That's part of it. The downside, or the good side is if you don't file a tax return, the government can't penalize you for not having health insurance. So, unfortunately, without having an income tax return, we're not going to be able to qualify you for government assistance on that.
Well, what do I have to do to get the income tax return?
You have to make money to file an income tax return.
And then I guess you do, like, paperwork or something, huh?
Correct.
That sucks. Do you think you could do it for me?
No, I can't do it for you, dude. I couldn't help you. I'm not an accountant. But you have a good day. Thank you.
Wait, I can, like, hook you up if you could help me out.
I couldn't help you out, sir. Have a good day.
I know a guy in Florida. That's where you're at, right? Hello? Bro, you totally hung up on me.
I'm sorry to hijack the show so early on, but...
That's okay.
We are Third Coast Radio, and I played that for a reason.
And?
I got hate mail this week from somebody.
Really?
Yeah. I got a handwritten...
Is this a new experience for you?
Well, we get hate mail all the time. I mean,
I was going to say, I get hate mail all the time. This must have been special hate mail for it to make the show.
Special hate mail. No, we get hate mail all the time. This hate mail was special because it was handwritten. And it started off, it was handwritten to me, customized, and it was somebody spent a lot of time on it. They didn't just scribble down real quick. The person that sent it to me had fine detail to the hate mail.
Wow.
And they started off by saying, Producer Kenny, you are not funny. Your telemarketer prank calls are not funny. You are making fun of college kids, who, as you can see, is not college kids. It's like,
right.
You are taking advantage of people that don't know any better. They're calling me, which is ironic.
Mm-hmm.
And then the best part of the letter, follow this with, that's why I think you should hire me to come work for you and write some stuff for you. So ironically, this person...
Wait a second. Wait a second, because I got a this is like, we have not talked about this before this show.
No, we
just
haven't.
so everybody knows, this is not planned.
But
I got
whatsoever.
No, we don't prepare. But I got a very similar email saying, like, hey, basically you suck at everything you do. You should hire me to write for you. And I was like, this is an interesting way of knocking on doors for work that will yield probably no work whatsoever. I can't remember the name of the person, but do you, like, what? I guess we can't say his name on the air, can we?
I'll say it. I don't care. I'll say everything about this guy. This guy is a jerk. So he goes on to say... This guy, I only bring this up for a reason. I make it a point here because we get hate mail all the time. I don't care. Like I said, I don't care. It's fine. A lot of people don't like us. I get that. We assume that they don't. I mean, like, look at what we do. We're basically, this is radio, talk radio, conservative, independent, sort of obscure radio. We are the stepchild to the entertainment industry. So I'm fine with the fact that people don't like us. But what was weird about this was the guy wrote a hate mail letter to tell me that he doesn't like how I have this nonviolent protest of all this unwanted, unwanted solicitation that I get of salespeople, and he tells me that he doesn't approve of my disapproval of people sending me all this unwanted sales stuff by trying to sell me something. which is such poetic irony, and I use the word poetic for a reason, because he goes on to say that I should hire him to write poetry for us, which we can have Walton and Johnson and Michael Berry read on the air. And he goes on to include some of his poems, and they're like racially insensitive poems about how he doesn't like Mexicans and he doesn't want them to cross over the border, and then the best part, he's followed this up with copyright. This poem is copywritten, which is incredible, because there's no way, I promise you. The one thing he didn't have to do, he didn't have to write the whole letter because it was a waste of his time, but the one thing he didn't have to do was put copyright at the end of it, because there's no way anyone's ever going to copy it. It was such garbage. And then, as if any of that wasn't dumb enough, he follows it up with, but wait, there's more. I'm a character artist, and you can hire me to be the official character artist of your radio station. And he includes what looks to me like basically drawings of Jewish comedians that sort of resemble, not unlike the Boardwalk characters, except this character art is more like the kind of art you would have seen in German propaganda in the mid-1930s to attack the Jews. Like, that's what it looked like, very racially insensitive, anti-Semitic cartoon characters. And it occurs to me in my head, this guy doesn't realize we're a freaking radio show. We don't need cartoon characters, man. And now, and if we were going to use a cartoon character, we've had people approach us before who do really good cartoon art, like our friend Keith, who does the official Third Coast Radio logo, which you could see if you go to our website. So in my head, I'm thinking to myself, if there's one thing you don't need to do, it's write hate mail to people you want to get a job from.
It's a very, very interesting manner of attempting to get gainfully employed.
Right.
Maybe you could dissect some of this on your job show radio, where you help people find gainful employment. Ramon, it's just like, here's how to not apply for a job. A, tell your potential employer that they suck and you're better.
That's pretty funny.
And it didn't bother me that much. Like, Michael wanted me to do a bit on his show about it. And, I'm not going to waste Michael Berry's listeners' time. But
wait, what?
But our listeners' time, let's go right ahead.
There's about 50
Everybody
people.
knows they're not as important.
Well, the Third Coast family is like...
Sorry, separate but equal radio listeners.
Let's be fair. There's a lot of people that listen to this show, but mostly it's just close friends of ours. And they're not going to... Like our friends from Twitter and stuff. And they'll probably get a kick out of this story and no one else will. So that's why I just wasted our time Saturday night. And thank you for letting me be self-indulgent, AD, Ramon, and all of our listeners and all of our friends on Twitter. And that's it. I'm done. Thank you for letting me vent. I feel better now.
No, I think it's an amazing story, because if I got to go back, I can't remember if this person hit me up on Facebook or email, but it was just like, hey, you suck. You're really bad at radio. You should hire me to write for you because your bits and shtick is just played, hackneyed, and terrible. And I was like, I'll get right on it. I wonder if we have a place for an obnoxious scumbag to walk the halls. And
did he include a sample of his work?
No sample of his work, but maybe he moved on to you with the sample of the work, because he was like, the problem with my approach with AD is like, the whole telling him he sucks at his job thing, that's okay. But what I did not do is include a sample of my work guaranteeing me gainful employment.
Right, that's what I don't get. Like, I get that my comedy is relatively subjective, and I understand that lots of people won't think we're funny. You would only think that we are funny if you, A, agree with our philosophy on life, which is a huge part of our comedy, is like our political and like our ethical mannerisms, which we're very forceful about shoving down people's throats. And I understand that a lot of people won't think that's funny necessarily, but he follows it up with like really mundane poetry that does sort of, in a sense, reflect our beliefs a little bit in like a really awful...
You just said it was a bunch of racially insensitive, I hate Jews and Hispanic stuff. I would just like to be clear on this point. This might reflect...
No, exactly.
This might reflect Kenny's sense of humor, but I love people that aren't white.
Totally, but that's exactly what I'm saying. But his way of trying to like get across how we come off was just offensive and stupid and completely missed the point entirely of how like we sometimes get misconstrued or mislabeled as this or that. It was like he was saying, no, we are racist white people from Texas. Like, no, dude, we're not. Like, don't throw that out there. Like, it's one thing to be misunderstood, and it's another thing to like play into people's stereotypes about you. But I don't even want it. That wasn't even what upset me about it. What upset me about it was that this guy had wasted all this energy doing it. When people don't understand, man, the bad you put out there will come back to you. Who am I kidding?
That's deep.
Who am I kidding? I make fun of everything. It didn't even upset me that much. I just wanted to tell the story because it blew me away. I just thought it was funny. And that's it.
Do you think the bad really does come back to haunt people?
Well, I think that there's a fine line because understand that what we do for a living is we essentially tear stuff apart that we don't like. But, however, like we do it. We try, or at least we attempt to do it in a very smart manner. Do we always accomplish that? I think that most of the time we do. I think that our listeners would agree with that, or at least for the most part they wouldn't listen. Because, I mean, we talk about smart things, so for us to do it in a dumb way, we wouldn't get smart people to listen, you know what I mean? We're talking about things that are relatively complicated. If you didn't watch the news today, you wouldn't necessarily get the joke on a lot of our radio shows. But most of our listeners did watch the news today, or at least kept up with it on Twitter or social media or whatever, you know?
The whole idea of karma and casting bread upon the waters and reap what you sow, that is something that I always kind of sort of believed in, and that belief has been tested of late in that I found out that Kim Kardashian's app video game was on track to make her $200 million.
Oh, my God.
And I was just like, oh, well, okay, maybe if there is a God, maybe that's something that he's putting there to test our faith. Kim Kardashian makes $200 million off of. I was like, that's like hiding the dinosaur bones to test our faith, isn't it?
I could see why you would think that, actually. That makes perfect sense to me.
Hey, we're Third Coast Radio, and you can tweet all of us. At ADSXE is me, AD. At Ramon Robles Jr. is obviously Ramon. Hello. At Producer Ken, is Producer Ken.
Third Coast Radio is for a mature audience with an immature sense of humor. A razor-sharp comedic look at the issues that impact everyday life. Raised in the 80s and 90s and still haven't quite matured past the 10th grade. This is Dude Talk, politics, and comedy for our new generation.
Here's the thing about the IRS. It would be one thing if you were irresponsible, and it would be another thing if you were a liar. Usually those two things are mutually exclusive. But we found that the IRS are not only irresponsible and lose emails and records and things like that, they also tend to be, they have a flirtatious relationship with the truth. That's the nicest way I can think of describing it. And because of that, when they come knocking on your door asking for all your money and all your possessions because they feel like you owe them something, you want to have the good guys on your side. Who are the good guys, Kenny and Ramon?
I've heard it's top tax defenders. We're not talking about Superman here. We're talking about real superheroes.
Yeah, I was going to say Batman, but yeah, top tax defenders are good too.
Yeah, these are real-life superheroes. Not like the kinds in the movies. These people will actually call you back if you leave them a message.
Yeah.
And unlike the guy that plays Superman...
What, you mean Batman doesn't return your calls? He does mine. Awkward.
Just the actor that plays Batman has a restraining order on me, and not even the Batman, but like that guy in Times Square.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not even like a good Batman. But he didn't get sued either because he declared all his taxes and got top tax defenders to help him out.
You want to write this phone number down, 713-422-2225 for top tax defenders, or go online, toptaxdefenders.com.
Glenn Beck boldly goes where few have gone before.
Why, yes. Yes, he does. His theories are quite fascinating.
So, you guys listen on the bridge?
Yes. In between recording our new cover album, Star Trek's Covered in Chat.
Wow.
Using logic, Mr. Beck is able to predict what will happen before it does.
Truth is the final frontier.
No, it's finding a new spokesperson gig.
The Glenn Beck Program, Monday, 10 to noon on KPRC Radio.
Now that the weekend is here, I have 3 security projects to make your life safer. I'm Digital Pro Kim Commando. More coming up. Summer's the best time of the year. The parties, barbecues. You're always out of the house. But that means it's more important than ever to make sure your home is safe. Most alarm companies make it unbelievably hard. They're full of middlemen, bloated price tags, and locked-in contracts. It's complicated, it's expensive, and it doesn't have to be. That's why I love SimpliSafe. This is the best home security system around. SimpliSafe was built by a Harvard-educated engineer. It's totally state-of-the-art and costs a fraction of what you'd expect. You get 24/7 protection, the latest security technology, and it's only $14.99 a month. There's no long-term contracts. How easy is that? The whole thing arrives pre-programmed, ready to start protecting your home. This is such great protection for your home and family. Protect your home the smart way. Go to simplysafekim.com now to save an extra 10%. That's simplysafekim.com, simplysafekim.com. With the weekend about to get underway, here are 3 important things you can do to protect your online activities. Begin by cleaning your